there, it's Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, I still have that hoard of washi tape hanging around, and again, I have done some videos in the past about using up washi tape, and it is time for that again. So I have my little stash here, and I kind of got it all out on my desk, had a bit of a look at it. This is how I store my washi tape in the Systema container, and once this is full, or I know that that is all the space I have to store washi tape, so I am very cautious about any that I add into there now. So I just took a few of these out. So go through your stash, see if you can find some that match. And I want to do some layering of washi tapes too. So not just one washi tape, but add a couple on top because I really like that effect. And it changes the look up just a little bit. So I have chosen this as a kind of turquoisey blue color with the dots. And then this one is a script washi. This is probably one of my favorites and a really versatile one at that. And I'm going to pop that straight down in the middle of the washi tape. Now, just because it's easy, I'm going to bend that around the back, but you can cut them off if you like it to be nice and neat as well. Then make sure that I have pushed everything down and everything is nicely sealed. Then I'm going to take another piece of paper here, and this could just be a scrap piece of paper. I am using the Recollections 100 pound paper here. And I have been trialing this. I've been using it for both card bases and card fronts, just everything. So having one type of paper for everything has been really handy. And I always cut all my pieces up to be 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And that way I just know that they're ready to go for card making. But I am going to just layer this washi on. I'm not worried about matching up the patterns and things. Honestly, for this, when we're going to do die cutting and stamping, I don't think it makes too much of a difference if they're all lined up. If it's got a nice easy pattern to line up, then go for gold, but otherwise I wouldn't stress about it. Then I'm just going to put down, so I have the kind of grid lines one and the green polka dots, and then I have the yellow, I think it's really fine polka dots. And then I have the happy birthday set here. This is the happy birthday sentiments from Waffle Flower. And I am going to stamp this really nice big sentiment there. It's bold, it's big, and I'm going to pop it right in the middle of that washi tape that we layered up the top. Now I am using a stamping platform just because I wasn't sure if I'd need to stamp it a couple of times. Because I'm going to heat emboss this, I did use the anti-static powder bag first, just like you would if you were stamping on cardstock. Then some VersaFine Onyx black ink, which is going to stay wet enough that I'm able to add some clear embossing powder. And this just seals it on really nicely onto those couple of layers of washi tape that we've popped down there. So once I heat this up and have melted all of the happy birthday, it will turn nice and dark again. I do use the super fine embossing powders because I figure that they do really detailed sentiments as well as block and bold sentiments, so it feels like I don't need to get the regular embossing powders as well for that. So I always got the super fine one, and then you can see it has a nice little sheen on it. Then I'm going to pop this in my paper trimmer and just trim a little bit. I didn't measure, I just eyeballed a tiny little bit of white either side of that sentiment. Now I did line up the script washi to be right in the middle of those 3 strips of blue washi tape. So it is all kind of pretty much, I mean it's eyeballed, but it's nice and even. Now I have these 3 other little coloured panels here, and I'm going to use the Curvy leaves dies, and I'm going to do all 3 of them. So there's kind of like a really long one that goes really nicely, reaches both sides of the sentiments, and then like a medium sized one, and then a much smaller sort of foliage one. So I'm going to pop them just on everything. I'm not going to, I don't know at this point kind of how my layout is going to be. In this video I end up changing my mind quite a bit by the time I get to the end of this. This is a very simple layout, and I'm sure if you have a dig through your stash you will find lots of things that you're able to kind of do this layout with, and it's not complicated at all. It's very easy to pop together. But I did end up changing my mind and making several mistakes along the way. So I left those in because it reminds you that I am very, very much human and very, very much make exactly the same mistakes as everybody else. And it is so easy to do. So you'll see it in a little bit when I start putting it together and then changing my mind. That's when I start getting into a pickle. But in the meantime, I am just getting all of those little die cuts and all the little inner bits out of them. Now I am going through my stash. I've been digging into the depths and finding any little foam squares and things I have left. I do not have any foam tape left, so I am just using up every little last bit of what I've got. I've covered quite a bit of the back of this here in the foam dots, but I did want to leave a little bit of space so I could kind of pop the foliage down underneath. I cut that really long branch in half, and then that way there is nice half to go above and half to go below. And there's no rhyme or reason as to where I am putting all these bits and pieces. You really just have to kind of fiddle around until you find something that looks pleasing to your eye. And I wish there was kind of a recipe for you to follow, but honestly, just keep playing around until you like the look of it. And I am going to pop some kind of towards the top left corner and towards the bottom right corner. That was what I was aiming for. And I'm going to use some Ranger Multi-Medium in the matte finish. That's what's inside this little bottle. I truly do love these little bottles. They have been game changers for me, and I have used them for years now, and they have never clogged on me. So that was really helpful when it comes to card making and paper crafting. So I'm just popping my little bits of foliage in here, and I kind of get to this point and I knew I wanted to pop a few little Nuvo drops around. Now you could use Nuvo drops, you could use enamel dots, you could use any little gems or sequins or anything you want to add, just that little bit that you want to add. And then this is where I kind of thought I was finished, and I thought, yeah, it's good. And I felt like the blue of the washi tape behind the sentiment, I needed more of that in my foliage. And don't get me wrong, I think the card as is looks fine, but I just felt like it wasn't quite complete in my mind. So I'm going to go ahead, as I said, I covered a little bit of a card in some of that blue washi tape, and then I'm just going to die cut some of the same foliage that I had just a minute ago and run these through my die cutting machine. They die cut beautifully through the layers of washi and the cardstock, so that's really helpful. And then just pop out all those little center parts which pop out nicely. Then I am going to add these in, and because I already have my Nuvo drops down, when you are fiddling with all these little leaves and things, accidents are bound to happen. So when I kind of end up putting this bottom one in, I was like going well, put the top one in and it was going well, and then I wanted to put this little green bit back in there, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of the liquid glue on it, and then that's exactly where I smudged it. You can see it on my finger, and that Nuvo drop is squished. Now because these haven't been sitting here too long, I'm able to just take my finger and just wipe it away, really kind of hard press down on the paper and wipe it away. Then I'm going to pop the final little leaf in here, and then I managed to smudge the second one as well. So then I'm going to replace that with a nice big drop there to cover up any of that green that was there. Pop this one back in, and then I will replace the drops from the right hand side, and then I am done and I feel like this card is complete. So I hope that you enjoyed this layering washi tape card and you give it a go to use up some of the washi tapes in your stash, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, bye!